I did a couple movies, TV shows. Yeah, I used to be cool. Now here I am. I tell all my employees now, I'm like, you guys, they don't know what I've done or, who I am really or anything, but sometimes I'm like, you guys, I used to be really cool. Okay. Um, and they say, oh, you're cool. I'm like, no, no, I used to be like really cool. And now, honestly, I think jump in with both 2 feet, be yourself. I promise you, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And depending on how long that tunnel is, you're not going to get stuck in it. We are resourceful as performers. We know that we can get it done. And I know that you will find a way out of that tunnel and it will be bright. So keep going.
Welcome to Recast and Rise, the podcast for performers and creatives ready to explore what's next. You'll hear inspiring stories of artists who reinvented themselves and found new careers after the stage. Let's recast and rise. Hello, Michelle.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Of course. Yeah.
So, Michelle, we are talking about career change. But before we talk about your career transition, you are now an operation manager. So before you share all about what you do right now and what your life looks like, can you tell us about your career as a performer and what you used to do?
Yeah. Gotta go way back here. Gotta get the files. Let's see. So the last show that I did was with Cirque du Soleil with Criss Angel. I was a performer. I was also the dance captain. And then towards the end, actually, which I'll talk about, I became the production manager. Well, kind of like a manager as well. But so I had a desk on one side and my makeup station on another because I knew I wanted to transition. So I picked up both roles. So that was interesting. But then before that, I was in Vegas, the show at Planet Hollywood. I was the lead dancer there for a year and a half. Before that, I was in Peep Show, a Little Bo Peep's show. I was one of the 6 leads in that show. And yeah, so I was the aerialist in Lionel Richie. I danced for Bette Midler at Caesar's Palace for 2 years. I was one of her showgirls. I did a couple movies, TV shows. Yeah, I used to be cool. Now here I am. I tell all my employees now, I'm like, you guys, they don't know what I've done or, who I am really or anything, but sometimes I'm like, you guys, I used to be really cool. Okay. And they say, oh, you're cool. I'm like, no, no, I used to be like really cool. And now I'm just trying to keep up.
I used to be a 10 on the scale of being cool. Now I'm kind of I'm a 3. No, I'm just joking.
We're trying over here, but they laugh and then,
I mean, it's because to your standard, right? I mean, you had an amazing career, really fun, very diverse, and I see how, your identity as a performer, it's so fun, and now what you're doing is amazing, just different. You're still very cool, Michelle. We'll take that back.
Okay.
You're a 10.
Okay. That's what we hear. Motivation, right? That's why we're here. It's good.
That's right. So I think it's very fascinating. I can only imagine your makeup station and then your laptop. So you were prepared. You did that career. It sounds like you didn't just overnight transitioned. So tell us about that.
Well, so after high school, I actually I started dancing right away. I danced at Busch Gardens in Virginia, and I knew that I wanted to go to college. I wanted to get a degree, but I was thinking, okay, I go to Fordham and get a double danced in business degree. And that was going to take me 5 years. And I thought, no, that's not going to happen. So I went to Suffolk University in Boston, Massachusetts, and I got a business management degree in 3 years. So I was taking like 21 credits a semester, and every summer I was still dancing, doing shows, and I was on AOL trying to dial in to take my online classes, and I had to keep a certain GPA. So I graduated with 3.9, a little higher than that GPA, just so that I could dance, I could perform and do what I wanted to. But then fast forward, right? I graduated 2004. So high school 2001, college 2004. fast forward that. How long is that? Oh my God, 20, oh God.
We're not counting.
So,
We're not counting.
so fast forward that. Now I'm trying to get into the business world, right? And I mean, everything has changed. You're talking about any type of platforms. I mean, just the Microsoft Excel, that stuff didn't even exist when I went to school. No, seriously, it was like you still had to put in codes to get to a certain place. So now you're talking about relearning everything. So, being a performer and being with Cirque du Soleil, they had so many different outlets, and I took advantage of it. So at Criss Angel show, we had one of the managers who was kind of in charge of the culture and planning any events that we had, managing any complimentary tickets, tried to keep everybody aligned with health insurance and making sure that every payroll was inputted, and then the GM would actually process it. But yeah, I wanted to do something that would guide me into not performing anymore, because around 34, 35, I ended up with the thyroid thing, and I was exhausted. I was tired. My body hurt. I was happy to be still performing and dancing, but I was hurting. And I just,
Yeah.
it's funny. People say when you know, and I never believed them, but I knew. It was just time. I would come off stage and be limping to my car driving home. And I'm thinking, how am I going to get up tomorrow and do this again? So, doing that also, I don't know if Cirque du Soleil has one night for one drop.
Yeah.
And it's people donate their time to work it. And so I donated my time. I was Jewel, the singer. I was her personal stage manager. So just doing that and being the production manager backstage for Criss's show for a year really kind of helped. So once I was finished, I ended up getting Ka. I was a stage manager at Ka. And then the pandemic hit.
Yes. Oh,
It was terrible.
oh yes. Where'd you start? Okay, so where do you want to go with this?
Yeah.
I feel like
so I was kind of building. I was okay, I was following around. The artistic director kind of found out who I was, what I had done, and she kind of wanted to take me under her wing and kind of have me be her assistant for all the little shows, like choreographer showcase and all this stuff. And then pandemic, and shows were the first thing. Everything closed. So now I'm trying. Not only am I trying to kickstart a brand new career, but now there isn't even a career to kickstart. There's just, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So it was rough. It was rough for a bit, but through the grapevine, and this is kind of how I got into where I am now, but through the grapevine, I heard someone was looking for someone to make merchandise in a random warehouse. You get paid $20 an hour, Venmoed. And I was just sitting at home going crazy because, when you're a performer, you're just you don't sit still. And I was going nuts. So I said, okay, I'll do it. We would go into this warehouse with masks and hoods and I'd put it on a Christmas movie, and I would just make little trinkets.
We're still during the pandemic. So you're doing this during, oh, okay,
yeah.
yes.
And we had to we were all far away, had our own table,
Yeah. Okay.
And that's where I met Chris Wink. So Chris Wink is he's one of the creators of Blue Man Group. And he was creating Wink World at Area 15. And I didn't even know what Area 15 was. No one knew anything. It was okay, I thought it was a weed place, to be honest. I don't know. And so I'm why am I making these alien earrings for weed? This is so weird. I don't know what I'm doing, but whatever. You're going to Venmo me later. Great. So, yeah, I did that for, gosh, maybe just a couple months. And then Area 15 opened, and getting to know Chris, he's hired me on as a manager, just like a merchandise manager, and ended up hiring a GM. And then that GM did not work out. And so I was very, very hesitant, but I ended up moving into that role. And from then on, him and I just hit it off. He didn't even know that I was a performer or what I had done before, which I kind of liked.
Aha. Oh, yes. So you did it. It was not a biased. You were
I proved myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that made me feel so much more, you know, accomplished and like kind of like you know, I made it this far. And over time, a few years, he kind of like figured out who I was, I guess. He probably Googled me at some point. I don't know. But
Yeah.
who knows? Who knows
Yeah.
what shows up? Don't Google me. No, I'm just kidding.
Too late now. So where can we find you, Michelle?
Yeah. No, but yeah, we just then from then now I have his trust as a GM. Then I have his trust. I have his respect, and you know, I'm literally running his company. He lives in New York, and we're in Vegas. I'm running the whole thing, making decisions, and you know, he had his say. It's called Wink World, and his name is Chris Wink, so his name's on the marquee. You know,
Yeah.
but
little leverage. He's got a little leverage.
Yeah. So, yeah, then he started realizing that I was in entertainment, and obviously he created Blue Man Group, but he performed in the show for 30 years. And so all of a sudden it was like, oh, so now we're getting even, you know, closer. And then it's like, oh, okay, let's expand this company. Let's do more photo shoots. Let's do some video shoots. Like, what are ideas? So it grew into a really awesome relationship that him and I had business wise. And, I mean, I just got married a couple of months ago, and you know, when we got engaged, he let us stay at his place in New York while like my husband at the time was, you know, preparing to propose. He's a great guy. I've learned so much from him, just so much. And yeah, then from there I did a pop-up, went out to Saudi Arabia, and then I developed another entire Wink World from the ground up in Mall of America. Literally lived out there for 4 months in Minnesota. And then once it opened, I was the director of operations and development for all the locations, bouncing back and forth all over. And now here I am.
Wow. What an incredible story. I mean, it's you really slowly built your way by networking. It sounds like that's what led you to where you're at now. I mean, not only that, of course, but it's to meet the right people and offering your services and who you are.
Yeah. It was hard though. I mean, it definitely wasn't easy. You
Tell
know?
me more. What would you say was the most challenging part?
I think the most challenging part for me was, okay, so being, if people are watching and they're entertainers, and you kind of know if when you walk into the room, if you know, people are like, oh, that's the girl from La Rev, or oh, isn't she in that show? Or you kind of have people can reference you, or you know, you have that title, I guess. And being in this new industry, I was very green. I was brand new. Stayed very humble, very much. I was a sponge. I absorbed everything. I was not afraid to ask questions. And if I asked a question and I got the answer, I never had to ask. I made sure that I never was going to ask the same question twice. I wrote it down, put it in, you know, my notes. I made sure that I knew who to go to for everything. And when I had meetings with upper management, I'm talking the COO of Area 15, the CFO, I'm going over P&L statements and budgets, and I love numbers, but I didn't even know what I was looking at. I would be up all night Googling what abbreviations were, because I didn't know. So, but I would do my homework. I would be prepared, right? So walking into a lot of those meetings felt very different. And
like would you say the imposter syndrome? Is that kind of feeling where you have to fake it until you make it, that you understand what's going on in the room there?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I guess that, yeah, I used to say that, fake it till you make it. But at the same time, if you didn't have the knowledge, and you didn't have a savvy way or of research, if I just went in blind, they would have seen right through me.
Yeah.
You know, so kind of like, it's just like performing. You're doing a gig. You learn a dance in an hour, and you're, you know, okay, we'll be back tomorrow. Make sure you memorize that. You go home and you're like, shit, you gotta review it, or you got to go to the gym to keep up your body to make sure tomorrow you're still hired, you know? So the same type of thing, but I just made sure that I asked questions, and I didn't overly like jump into things.
Mhm.
I made sure I sat back, I watched, I observed, I like literally just absorbed everything I could. And I saw now that doing this, looking back at when I first started 5 years ago, I can truly say, looking at like there was almost points that I can pinpoint of when I'm like, click, I'm
Mm.
comfortable now.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
we're gonna have this meeting, and you don't have to ask me questions because I'm gonna come at you with answers already.
Yes.
And especially being in a business where a lot of upper management is male.
Mhm. Mm.
So
Oh,
being the
interesting.
only female in the room with the title of director, uh, I needed to own it, stay humble, and do my homework, do my research,
Wow.
and deliver.
Congratulations.
'Cause look,
And repeat that. What did you say?
and deliver results. You know, that's what they want to
Ye-
see. And
Yeah.
luck,
Yeah.
thankfully, I had great employees. Thankfully, I developed all these programs that our revenues like skyrocketed, and
Yeah.
we were able to implement different things. And you know, it thank God it worked. You know,
Congratulations. This is huge. First of all, it sounds like you're a very resourceful woman, and you have very high standards for yourself, and look where it led you today. This is incredible. Um,
thanks.
Let me ask you, Michelle. So being a performer obviously is a complete different gig.
Yeah.
So being in management, especially at the level that you are now, what would you say to someone who is interested in potentially going into management, is not quite sure what it requires?
Mhm.
What would you say? Just Michelle, a bit more green, not Michelle the director, but with the knowledge of the director. What would you say to someone who's just getting started?
I would tell them, depending on what type of management you wanted to get into, if you're in a show and you can hear the show calls,
Yep.
this is what I did. I would listen to the show calls and kind of watch what would happen, because that's management, right? I would look at the schedules and figure out, why did we schedule it this way. I also asked if I ever got swung out of the show, if I could follow a stage manager or watch from the booth, or shadow the stage managers before the show and after to see how they made the schedule, to see, because they're not going to want to pay you more. But if you just want to shadow, they're not 9 times out of 10, they're not going to say no. And then, like I said, just trying to find, there's resources out there. But you have to put yourself out there. A lot of times when you're performing, things sometimes will come to you. Like if there's a opening available and people say, oh my gosh, you should audition for this. You'd be great for it. With business, if
Yeah.
you're not in it and the people don't know you in it, you have to put yourself out there, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to ask questions. No question is stupid.
Yeah.
It's for me, when my employees ask me questions, I'd rather them ask than do it and do it wrong, and then
Hmm.
now we have a big problem.
Hmm.
So ask questions, like the stage managers. Hey, when this happened, why did you call this, or why did you do this? Oh, and
Yeah.
understanding why, and then implement that into other realms of business where you want to go. You know, so.
If you are a performer wondering what's next, let's connect. You can send me a message or visit my website, where you can find more tips and tricks to navigate your career change. And subscribe to this podcast for more inspiring stories and career tools. Now, back to our chat. I love that. And then also, while you were still performing, while doing all that, so you built your experience as a manager. And perhaps you would have realized, you know what, this is not something that's for me, but at least you tried it. Well, okay, you, in your case, you loved it, which great outcome there. Yeah. And did you know that management was something you always wanted to do, or
No,
like, no?
I would have never thought. I actually, when they wanted me to be the GM and manage like the team, I was very skeptical. I did not want to do it. I did not want, I mean, there was like a team of 20 at the time, and they're anywhere from 18 to 27. And, you know, it's just different times, you know, especially being a performer. You're so used to like, it's on 8, make sure you do that next time. Well, you can't. cannot talk to people like that in
Uh-huh.
the real world. That you will get sent to HR right away. Okay, don't do that. So yeah, I wasn't ready, and so they said, "Listen, we just need someone. How about you just step in until because I've had access to all the platforms and payroll and all that stuff. So will you
Yeah.
please just step in?" So I actually just stepped in, thinking that I really wanted to go into the artistic direction.
And that's also actually probably a really good way to step in a bigger role and almost get a promotion without planning it and without a little bit less pressure because you were actually probably making them like doing a favor
Yeah,
in a way.
yeah, but it paid off because
It paid.
when I paid o what, took over, we had a 20% upswing in retention rate. We had 30% upswing in revenue, and, the quality and all of the staff, they got interviewed by HR just to see how everyone was doing because the GM, it wasn't a good situation, and their overall, like, camaraderie and culture, like, went up immensely, and so I got called in by the CEO or no, the GM of Area 15 at the time and was like, listen, things are actually looking pretty good. It's been 2 months. Like, how would you feel about taking this on? And I'm like, oh my God, you know how many times I've had to bite my tongue
Oh,
with these children?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I asked to have a supervisor, like as an assistant pretty much. And they said yes. So I said, okay, I'll do it. Okay.
Oh, wow. Good for
Yeah.
you.
So
So you,
that was like the liaison, right? I would
yeah,
like
yeah.
tell her something and then she would kind of go.
I mean, that's a great way. You actually leverage the skills that you're better at, which maybe for you, you didn't want to have those conversations. So you had someone else that is probably more comfortable or more skills to do it. And then you were able to focus on what a GM is actually like what they should be doing, which is really not managing everything, including employees.
Correct. Yeah. Overseeing. Yes. But
Yeah.
yeah, ultimately it's like, it's marketing, it's the P&L, it's the budget. It's like, it's all of that. So
Yeah.
yeah, which ironically, I love it. And I love Excel. Before I used to get so happy when I would learn a new move because I was a pole dancer as well with Cirque. I used to teach pole, and, with Cirque, not
Yes.
just pole dancing in Vegas, just
Yes.
which is fine, which
Yes.
not saying it's
Totally.
but anyway, that just saying. Uh, but when you finally figure out a move, right? And you're like, "Oh my gosh, I've been trying that and I finally figured it out." For me, Excel, when I finally figure out a formula, which last week I figured out a formula that was 3 lines long,
Oh,
like
no.
full lines. And it took me like a full day and a half to figure it out. And I didn't look anything up or anything. I was like, win.
Yes!
This made my whole month. I'm
Seriously?
so excited. And everyone's like, what happened? What are you excited about? Your wedding, your husband? I'm like, an Excel
Excel.
formula.
I mean, Michelle 5 years ago would have never said that or not
No.
even like thinking, isn't it so funny? I love this so much.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Is it too much? What's that formula for?
So
Do you even, what
Oh
is
yeah,
it?
no, I'll believe it. I know. I was so excited that I was carrying my laptop around, and I'm like, guys, remember I working on this thing? They said, yeah. I'm like, I figured it out. Look at this, and and they're like, how did you even?
Uh,
What is that? So
uh,
I have 100 employees. It's very hard. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in our management team. There's managers, there's supervisors, there's an assistant manager, and then there are like leads that are seniors in charge of and then the staff. And we were looking for a way to get them a little bit more motivated, right? So at Wink World, I came up with this cool thing. It was called Wink Stars. And if you covered someone's shift, if you came in like really dressed up, decked out in your Winkster neon outfit, if you got a positive review, if you got mentioned, we had a bunch of different things, you got a
yeah.
star. And at the end of the month, whoever had the most stars gets a gift card. So that kind of helped like with motivation, right? But then I decided I wanted to implement a commission. So
Mm.
I looked up all of our revenue every month, all that stuff. But then you have to realize some of them are part-time, some of them are full-time. So now you need to separate. Is it how many tickets you sold? Is it what's the revenue that you sold? How much, what percentage do they make? Is it like a chunk? Is this person part-time, full-time? And, you know, yeah, every week you could look at their work schedule and then count, like see how many tickets they have. And then how much, what percentage is that? And then, okay, were they part-time, full-time? What percentage, what is it? And then do the equation. So we have 10 to 15 employees at Winkworld that wasn't that hard. But with 100 employees,
Yeah, no.
we can't do that for 100 employees.
No.
So I took the time and I made an Excel spreadsheet. I figured out, instead of ticket sales, it was how much revenue they would sell. And if they hit a certain goal, has part-time or full-time, how many hours they worked, automatically pulls the revenue and does the math for you, spits it out at the end and sends it to HR.
Boom. Let's go.
Let's go. It was a lot. It was a lot. Like I had to have a separate thing, a separate sheet with a table, so that in the Excel formula it was look table quotes.
Oh yeah, and you forget one quote or any of the little symbol, and then that's it. Oh yeah, and then did you do the color coding and all of that too? And then it just spits the graph. And I am so proud of you. And then in this time of age, like ChatGPT, a lot of that I'm not even, but a lot of, and you did it without.
Yeah, well, there was one time I got stuck, right? And I put the formula in and I was like, this is what I want to do. And Copilot spit out and gave me, and it was not correct. And guess what it was? I had one space, just a space in between something that obviously this shouldn't be a space. And I had been looking and looking and looking, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. What is going on? I pressed backspace and it was like, it came up. I said, oh, it's the little wins. You got to take those wins.
Oh, it is totally the little wins. You close that computer and you're like, I'm done for today. I win.
Yeah. The other thing I will say too, is for entertainers too, like, we're used to marketing ourselves. Think about it, right? Yeah. Like for any type of entertainer, you're pretty much trying to market yourself to all these casting directors, right? So, I saw a lot of people go either into sales or into marketing, because you got to learn how to sell things, right? And so for me, I actually I negotiate. I love negotiating.
Oh, interesting.
You tell me a price and that's not what I'm going to pay.
Okay. So if I need a new car, you're coming with me.
100% ask me. I got tons of money off and I got free oil changes for 3 years. And I got my way into so many things. But like, even if I just save 10 cents a product, I'm like,
yeah.
But it's just play up to what you're, what you're good at, I guess.
Yes. And would you say when you left, so 5 years ago, when you transitioned and you knew, when you said, oh, I hate to say that, but when and your body was telling you, okay, it's time. Did you was it difficult, or that transition for you was because your body was hurting? Was it
the decision was
the decision was hard?
No, the decision was not difficult.
Gotcha.
I was like, this is the decision I need to make for my body and my, my mind. And I need to do this.
Okay.
And And so, but figuring out and getting someone to hire me with not really a resume and trust that I'm going to do a good job, right, was difficult. But thankfully, Ka gave me a chance. But then, like I said, the pandemic hit. So now, after 2 years trying to interview or get an interview, and all I had was like Ka for 3 months, or I think it was 6 months. It was like, Shit.
Yeah, like it's not me. I didn't quit. It's not any of that. The pandemic hit. The reason why I'm asking why, like, how did you feel when you left, is because as performers, as you know, there's this the identity as being a performer. Some artists, it's easier for them to transition, while others it's very difficult, like very, very difficult. So I kind of wanted to get the sense on how, for you, if being a dancer and being the lead and always kind of in a leadership position, like was it your identity was not attached to that so much?
I think it was at the time and after, yeah. And I think the only time when I felt like no, I didn't even feel a gut punch. I felt good, really good about my decision. I don't miss it. I didn't miss it. I am fully on the side and encourage, like, pass the torch.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
it's the last girl I hired at Cirque. She was a Olympic rhythmic gymnast, and I'm like, she's amazing. She was, but I not that I needed to compete with that, but before I'd be like, wow, I want to learn that. Let me learn. Now I'm like, no, I'm,
Oh,
I
you
just had a,
go.
I just
Yeah.
had a hip
Yeah.
replacement 6 months ago, literally.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And so looking back at, like, how much my body hurts and how much, my back, I would sneeze and my back, I'd throw my back out. And it was just
Yeah.
over time, my feet were hurting, my knees were bad. I was getting cortisone injections, and I'm like, I can't. And
Hmm. Hmm.
I actually haven't missed it since I left. The only times where I even think about it is if I go somewhere and someone might recognize. I'm no
No, I
one's.
know what you're saying. No, I know what you're saying. Of course.
Wait, were
Yeah.
you the lead at Vegas the show?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but I have a sense of pride,
Of
not a
course.
sense of I miss it.
Mm.
I'm like, wow, how cool. I was in that show 12 plus years ago, and, like, someone actually recognized me at Topgolf, randomly at Topgolf the other day. Like, thank you. That's so
So
sweet,
good. It's so good. So
Yeah,
good.
so it makes me feel like, okay, I been there, done that. I put my stamp on it.
Yeah.
I have my resume. I did, like, check marks that I wanted to do, and now I want to use, like, the opposite side of my brain, and
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm supportive of everyone who's still out there. Like, I want to go support them and cheer them on, but
No. And
I
now you
just
want to write formulas.
yeah, yeah. Ooh.
I mean, so because I love that, it's a good segue. You're using the other side of your brain, like you're suggesting. So what would you recommend to artists, creative performers who are ready to transition, or who already transition and quite not sure what to do next? Do you have some interview tips you would like to share? Because you've interviewed people, you're working with employees. Being a performer that are not comfortable or not used to interviewing, we audition, but not so much selling yourself like in an interview. What
Mhm.
would you recommend so they can win?
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I think jump in with both 2 feet. Be yourself.
Hmm.
I'm not a singer or a comedian, but I'm Italian and I talk with my hands, and I try to crack jokes, and sometimes that helps break the ice, right? And take everything that you've learned from the stage, from anywhere from you know, uh we're driven. We pick
Yeah.
up choreography and cues super fast. So you don't have to align them, but those are things that you want to highlight, right? I'm a
Yeah.
very fast learner. I am driven. If you ask me to do something, it will be done, and it will be done at its best ability. I'm, in a sense, a perfectionist, right? And I want to look my best. I want to be my best. You want that applause at the end of the show. Well, I will give you an applause if you give me this job. Just kind of
Yeah.
give yourself the pat on the back, even though you might go in thinking, oh my gosh, I have never been a manager before, but you've been on a team because you've been in a cast. That's
Yeah.
a team. Somebody goes down in the middle of a show, someone falls, and now they're out of the show. You as a team need to look around and mentally figure out how you're going to cover for that person on the moment in the spot. You're great at adapting. There's
Yeah.
you pivot. There's, my thing is problems, solutions, not excuses.
Mm-hmm. Love that. Wow. Is there anything else, any advice that Michelle would give to artists? I mean, it's easy. Think about it. It's so much easier. Like now I can tell you're happy. You're in a really good place. But back then, oh my.
Oh, it was bad. I mean, listen, I get it. I have been there, and one of my friends actually is going through the transition right now too. And it's a struggle. And I keep telling him, I'm like, I promise you, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Look at me. Take for me, for example, I did all of this through the pandemic, which was very difficult, and trying to prove myself from home with the mask on and, but believe in yourself, you can do it. And like I said, when you know, don't try to talk yourself in or out of anything, and jump with 2 feet in. Be a sponge, learn as much as you can. There are courses now that you can take for free even. Just gather all the information that you can. And I think just my go-to is, I promise you there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And depending on how long that tunnel is, you're not going to get stuck in it. We are resourceful as performers. We know that we can get it done. And I know that you will find a way out of that tunnel and it will be bright. So keep going.
Oh, thank you, Michelle.
Yeah.
Thank you. I can see the light. I can see it.
Yeah. No, thank you. This was awesome. I'm glad if I can help shed light on and make someone's life a little easier, and give them any type of motivation. I mean, I wish I had that. I wish I had this when I was trying to go through it, because it was difficult, but
yeah.
There are people, resources, and just keep going. Believe in yourself, because the people who hired you for the show believed in you. So you can keep going.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you for listening to Recast and Rise. If today's story made a difference, share it with a fellow artist. Also, subscribe to this podcast and write a review so more people can access the tools shared on this platform. And follow me on my socials for tips and tricks to navigate your career change. Until next time, I will see you in the next episode.